can't see this? He said, what don't we see? I told him, I just read it to you, that Shoghi Effendi says, which is after Abdul Baha. And whatever he says, that is the document. It overrides previous writings. This is the law in the Baha'i faith. He says there are 5 others who will come in future. 5, not 4. They said, oh yeah, about that one? Shoghi Effendi didn't want to let the Baha'is in the West to know that you're Canadian, American. He didn't want you to know that the guy who built the Baha'i temple in Russia, not the Russia, Bolshevik Russia, Russia at the time of Tsar. The guy who built the temple, he didn't want to let you know that he's one of the elders. I said, Lord, this is interpretation, and that is not what Universal House of Justice is supposed to do. You're saying the 5 of Shoghi Effendi means 4, because he just didn't want to let the people of the West. Why would he discriminate against the people of the West? That doesn't want to tell them about the existence of another elder. What significance is in that? But I told him, my dear friend, the matter is deeper than what you know. You have to go to my website, www.5elders.com. I have written a book, a look at the Baha'i faith and in Universal House of Guardianship, to see this for yourself. One of the followers of the Bab, I told you that he had 18, with him himself becomes 19. One of them actually faltered. He left Baha'i faith. He joined the arch enemy of Baha'u'llah, Azal. They poisoned Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah calls him, his name was Hadi, beginning with H. He says, whenever you see that H, tells him, oh H of the hell, you're happy, and the Bab is crying from your act. He calls him the infidel. I completely was cast off by Baha'u'llah. I said, guys, of those 18, one was cast off to hell by Baha'u'llah. And the new one that you think is the 20th one is replacing one of them. They said, no, you can't. I said, if Hadi Qazvini also is an elder in your eyes, who is the arch enemy of Baha'u'llah? Who's a great covenant breaker? Right at the end of the tablets of the son of the wolf, his name is there too, he's bringing it up. If you think this enemy of Baha'u'llah is also an elder, it's like exactly putting the feces from the toilet besides the plate of the food and tell people to eat. Because this is that bad. It's exactly to say the guy, the Judas, is one of the disciples of Christ. He's the enemy of Christ. How could he be also a disciple? Disciples, they knew him, they kicked him out, and Timothy came after him. In this case, Abdul Baha saw that this man is gone. He replaced him with another person. But you guys don't see it. So there again I said, you're wrong. You're wrong because you're saying that the writing of Shoghi Effendi, who says it is 5, you're saying the 5 means 4. And interpreting, which is not your responsibility. And worst of all, for this kind of a basic argument, you call me infidel. What have I done to be called infidels? Gosh. So I said to that individual on the phone, this is 2 of them, but there's a lot more. Has anybody that you ever know have come to find out the mistakes of the Universal House of Justice? Nobody. God purposely left his elders behind, because always this happened in the religion of the past. He knew. He's not going to give the reign of the world in the hand of the Universal House of Justice if they cannot even see the logic of just a simple, dismal soul called Abbas. They can't see even his logic, which is not my word, for God's sake. It's all the writing that's in the writing. Even as a friend of mine said, the mayor of Guelph would not kill you. a person like you served the Baha'i faith in so many years. Vatican would not do that to his followers. Ayatollah Khomeini will not kill a devout believers like that. But you guys shun me down and tell me that I'm not even, I'm not even a Baha'i, never mind a Baha'i. I'm just a completely enemy of the faith. I was looking at very nice writing of Shoghi Effendi. Let's read that one too, about the human rights, that it seems these institutions, they don't understand it at all. Well, I guess I cannot find it. I did bring it here. But in the Baha'i administration, he says the cardinal, the most important things in the Baha'i faith is that human right. If we cannot even see that, read it. It's in the Baha'i administrations. About the human right is very, very important what he says. Unfortunately, Baha'is don't. So, why am I an elder? Because I, for the first time, solved this issue of the matter of the successorship to the Shoghi Effendi and guardianship in the Baha'i faith, which brings the women in power, which is the question today. In the Bible, in Daniel, it says 1,260. Everyone who reads the unanswered questions, they know that. 1,260, reference to the coming of the Bab. Then it says 1279, reference to the coming of Baha'u'llah, 19 years after. Then it says, good for those who reach to 1335. They ask Abdul Baha, what is that? He says it's solar years, not lunar years. They ask him, what is that? He says 100 years passed from the inceptions of the Baha'i, of the faith, of coming of Baha'u'llah and this and that. So these guys, they say that, okay, Baha'u'llah died 1863, 100 years after, universal laws of justice formed. But 1963 is not equal to 1335 of the Persian calendar. 1335 is 1956. It's not 1963. They're all puzzled. What does that mean? 1335 is my birth date. In my ID, it says 1337, but in fact it's 1335. All the people, my relative in Vancouver, they know it. In Iran, my parents, they didn't want to send me to the army. That was the custom those days. They would not report my birth date till I was like 2 years old. So when I go to army, I'm not 18, I'm 20. At least I'm strong to carry the task. So they would not report. Otherwise, I was born 1335. And they say, how do you say that? It is because Baha'u'llah quit the prophethood completely. He said, I'm no longer a prophet, because there were so many people claiming things. He just left all the Baha'is, Babis actually those days, and he went to the mountain of Sulaymaniyah, right now in Iraq. No one knew where he is, even Abdul Baha, his son. One day somehow his writing was found, and they knew, because he changed his name. He called himself Darwish Muhammad, and he said that I swear to one true God, which I am his representative, I will never ever come back to this. But he said that decision, God had decided differently, and I had to follow. That is the day he came. It wasn't 1335, it was 1235. From that day, 100 years, when the Prophet Baha'u'llah resumed and accepted his mission, because he quit. That day, when he came back, resumed. From that day, 100 years after that, I was born. And just 1 year before Shoghi Effendi dies. Okay? There are many, many things the Baha'is, they don't know, I cannot. I'm not going to go into that too much. This is getting too long. So, finally, those who are listening to me, what do you want from me? Or other way around, what do I want from you? You're asking me. What's our order? There's no order. What we want is this. What we think is correct. You be the judge of it. That we have to keep this unity. 15 years passed. First I spoke to my friend. They all faltered. Those who knew me long, they swore that I am connected to God, but they faltered. One of them may come back. Then I brought the matter among the Persian Baha'is. 15 years passed. Nothing I received from them. Well, 35,000 of them, they went into the website. A lot of them are out there. Now there's no response from this Universal Laws of Justice and Baha'is, and I see the time is coming to the end. I have to bring the matter to the Canadians and to the Americans and to the Western and non-Persian Baha'is all over the world to know the truth. What we think as elders, we should not go and create another institutions, another groups. The institution is made. We are there already. But we do not want to divide the Baha'is. Because the moment you create these divisions, it's just, God knows where it's going. So how do we win? The mechanism is embedded in the Baha'i faith. If you hear these things and you're convinced that we're right, and if you're a Baha'i, do not talk about it to other Baha'is. Don't say that you listened to this conversation or you learned it. But gradually try to talk to them, to see what they think. Use the wisdom, slowly. And those who are not Baha'is and they're listening and to investigate this, join the Baha'i faith through the local spiritual assembly of the city you are, through the national spiritual assembly of the country you are, and do not accept no other administration except the present one. Consists of local, national, and the Universal Laws of Justice in Israel that was built by the hands of the God. No other Universal Laws of Justice or administration is acceptable to us. Only what's there right now. You join them, but do not cause divisions. Gradually again, talk to the other Baha'is. If your effort is sincere and wise, gradually the Baha'is within themselves, they evolve and they understand as the time goes. You can't have a faith where 9 men, they can legislate laws and no women have no right in it. By this, I do not want that anybody to come and create an invention what to do. No, just look at the solution that's in the writing of the cause of God itself. We do not add to the faith. Shoghi Effendi says, in the hands of in the world order of Baha'u'llah, I'm paraphrasing, there's any system that does not follow the direct order in the writing, wants to go a little less than that, he says it will not achieve nothing. Maybe lesser peace, but that's all it says. They'll never get where God wants them to do. So finally, we're expecting from the viewer, from the listeners, from the audience, that join the Baha'i faith, become their member. But don't be a mole, you're not a spy. You have to go teach your brothers and your sisters